My absolute biggest pet peeve is when people, especially teenagers, think they know politics. Now you may all be looking at me crazy because why? Well, probably because I'm a teenager too, but there's one major difference between me and many of the others who take their offensive, racist, and or hypocritical opinions to social media and school. And the difference is I take the time to educate myself on the matter. Throughout this speech, I can explain to you how politics can be quite annoying, when it happens, and how to best avoid this dreadful situation. There are two things you really don't talk about at a family dinner, a party, or really any event that requires you to remain civil with the people surrounding you. One being religion, the other being politics. Now for anybody that doesn't know, we just recently had a big election, and America's basically divided into two political parties. One being Republican, or also known as conservative, and one being Democratic, or liberal. I'm sure all of you know this election caused many awkward moments, harsh feelings, and strong disagreements. But before I say anything about my pet peeve, I would like to point out the fact I am not here to judge anyone. I respect everyone and that each person is entitled to feel the way they feel, but I expect to have the same respect in return. My pet peeve is when people who are uneducated try to argue politics. The reason I feel I'm able to state my opinion is because I make it apparent to back up anything I say with facts and proof. But so many times I'm scrolling down my timeline on Twitter and see a tweet saying conservatives support Nazis or Trump supporters are only rich white men or snobby white sluts. This drives me insane. I'm a young conservative teen, and I supported Trump during this election not because my daddy buys me whatever I want, but because my religious views do not correlate whatsoever with Hillary Clinton's campaign. I also do not agree with Democratic views because I believe people work hard for their money and it shouldn't be just handed out so freely just because you make more than someone else. This does not make me racist, sexist, or any other ridiculous stereotype you can think of. Liberals, Democrats, whatever you want to call yourself, shout out to all the hypocrites. Conservatives too. Not all, but many. Some of you say you stick up for Black Lives Matter or love wins, but how could any lives matter or love wins if a small cult-like group of so-called activists judges me on my opinion? This party has been caught being violent way too many times and their protests are only the beginning. So many young people see how these women have acted and it baffles me that people still question what's wrong with America. Well, you know what, people? Open your eyes and realize you might be the problem and you might need to educate yourselves on what your party or group really represents. And this is why I refuse to stand behind Hillary Clinton. Now, maybe you don't agree with what I just said. Do I care? No. But would I be willing to explain my opinion as well as listen to yours? Sure. And this is because I understand the fact that each and every American is entitled to freely speak their opinion and their mind. But the real problem is so many of you have tried to argue with me. Not only am I one step ahead because I researched my information, but I also want to be a defense attorney, so I know and have trained myself how to defend either side. No matter which side I agree with, I know that each side has its pros and cons. This speech isn't to profess my patriotism to the grand old party or to tell you how I'm raised right. This is to tell you to stop judging in general. This happens way too many times. Twitter, Instagram, rallies, protests, and school. Basically anywhere just because it was such a hot topic for so long. Arguments and frustration can be avoided by either not talking about it or having a civil conversation and agreeing to disagree. I am a girl, and one day I want to be a powerful woman as well as many of you out there, and I want a voice in politics. I want to make just as much money as men, and I want to be treated no differently because I can do everything a man can do in a work setting. I am a privileged girl, and I've gone through plenty of hardships that make me much more relatable than many of you may think. And I'm a privileged white girl. I have the easiest skin color to have, but I also encounter racism and judgment. I may not understand what each of you have gone through, but I don't need to, because I'm not here to judge. We are all the same, and we are all equal in my eyes. I hope hearing this has opened your eyes, and I'm not what you see on the outside. And I'm not defined by stereotypes. I am not confined to just one group or set of rigid beliefs. I understand people, and I have a good heart. I can promise you my opinion will not hurt you. But my words might when you can't think of a good comeback because you didn't take time to educate yourself on politics.